Hey everyone, so we reached over 2,000 subscribers. When I started doing this channel, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I had no real intentions for it. The idea that I now have 2,000 very dedicated viewers is amazing, and I know that there's even more people who watch as well. I've been getting messages from all over the world, from people who enjoy the videos. I'm just glad that you enjoy them. I'm glad that you're still loving the game and hopefully some of the original videos and things too. I'm going to be doing a lot more in the future, and I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, very sincerely, thank you very much. Anyway, on to the video. It's a new weekly challenge. It's the Kill All Zombies challenge, or at least that's what I think it stands for, K.A.Z. Should be K.A.W. Pretty sure it does mean Kill All Zombies though. Anyway, all of these are going to have the same tagline, Kill All Walkers. Carl is our weekly hero. I'm going to give him this, the Saviour's Handgun, just because it looks really cool. Pretty much that's it. I'm going to have Yumiko as well. I think she makes a good team member. If you have a fairly nondescript shooter like Carl as the leader, Mercer's going to make up the numbers. And I think this is probably a pretty good team that could get pretty far. So, Carl, not the best of leaders. If you're using his leadership trait, that means that you've already got into the red damage bar, which means that you're not going to get a very good score at all. He's still a handy gunslinger, you know, he can still hold a pistol and shoot stuff dead, but yeah, his skill is not really going to come into play ever on a weekly challenge. Doesn't matter too much, it just means that you want to think about the rest of your team. My initial instinct is to make them all shooters so that they can all work together towards the common goal. And you're going to want weapons that do things like ensnare, cripple, or set light targets. I mean, I'm a huge fan of having shooter weapons with high power so that you've got that maximum range. Now, none of this is going to be very tricky early on at all. To be fair, even when you get into the plight missions, the fact that all you've got to do is kill these walkers, you don't have to worry so much about positioning, you don't have to worry about opening crates, anything like that. Might have to worry about things like goos exploding if you shoot them when they're too close, things like that. But you have a very simple objective for all of these missions. There's no guild wars to distract you, so maybe this is the time for you and your guild to get the best score you've ever had. Kill all walkers, again. So it looks like we've got a mission with some exploding walkers. Obviously a risk if you bring an all-shooter crew. But the principle of just not having to rush, you don't have a threat counter, you don't have walkers just crawling out turn after turn. On this, that happens. Okay. But basically, you are under no pressure. That's what makes Kill or Walker missions the simplest mission type. Doesn't mean that they're always necessarily just a breeze to complete, they're effortlessly completable or anything like that. But it is by far the simplest mission type. Stay back. When you advance, make sure that you've got Overwatch on. I strongly believe that having long-range characters gives you a big advantage. Don't forget that you've always got tools that you can use to distract or stun or otherwise hurt the walkers as well. And it's, yeah, I think Yumiko's a very, very good choice here. You're going to get a lot more shots per turn. I can't see why I wouldn't necessarily take her on the team. And then your next choice, Mercer, I think is a very good choice. You're going to have some big, scary walker types. He, of course, can hurt anything. Doesn't matter how tough they are. If you've boosted up Daddy Grimes, then maybe you could bring Rick. His heirloom means that you can get insta-kills. You're going to be gunning down a lot of walkers. And you just simply don't have to worry about noise. No threat counter. No big unpleasant surprises. And these missions are very quick to do as well. I mean, look at that. What was that? 20 seconds? 30 seconds? This is probably one of those ones. When it gets to the challenge missions, when it gets to the later missions and it takes sort of 5 or 6 minutes to do a mission, I don't always stick it out. Especially if we've got a hero that I'm a bit lukewarm on. But with these kill all walkers, kill all zombies missions, you just, yeah, they're just going to breeze by. Have you ever completed weekly challenge? Because this would be the week to do it if you haven't. It doesn't really matter how, right. Fish in a barrel. This is kind of the only one where I think it's a bit dependent on your characters and your gear. I always say having tip-top gear, having the best equipment that you can have, doesn't make that much of a difference. You've got to know how to position your characters and use their skills. With this mission, Fish in a Barrel, you start absolutely nose to nose with a bunch of walkers. So when it gets to a much higher difficulty, what do you do? Well, the first thing I think to remember is that shooters will start charged. So you're going to get a nice, big, powerful charge attack out of any shooters that you have. Next up, very small environment. You can see there from Mercer. If you've got anything with an arc of fire, it's going to hit everything. So you can cripple everything. And that's kind of... That makes a difference. It's an advantage for them to be so close up and you know, compressed. They can get a lot of attacks on you if you don't gun them down early, but at the same time, you can hit them all with those area attacks. It can be a tricky one though. If anyone who is perhaps maybe a newer player, maybe you don't have characters like Mercer unlocked. You don't have big powerful weapons with broad firing arcs, things like that. If you're really struggling, just say so in the comments, and either I or somebody else, I'm sure, can help you. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's a really cheeky mission, that one. Not a ton of strategy to it, but it is beatable. Ooh, look, kill all walkers again. I like the idea of bringing Daddy Grimes. Is he going to have that? It's such a cool looking weapon. It's not the best weapon because it's fairly short range. Right, now this is no way going to be all of the walkers that we're going to have to encounter. Even if you don't activate Rick's heirloom, his inspiration's it's a pretty powerful tool. So this, I mean, we can see that things like, Carl and Yumiko's weapons both have those blasts. They affect multiple enemies. That's a very nice thing to have. You might not have these absolutely, you know, tip-top weapons that I got from seasonal events or the guild shop or things like that. But hopefully you've got some assault characters. Their whole thing is they hit multiple enemies. Even hunters with large caliber weapons, they're going to hit multiple things as well. So this is one where you get surrounded, you're going to have to kill things quickly. Again, don't forget that all of your shooters are going to start charged. That means you've got a really powerful charge attack that you can unleash on the enemy as they close in. And that one's a little bit out of the norm in that you start off with a few walkers and then more of them come in turn after turn. try and clear that board as soon as you can so that you don't get overrun. Otherwise, it kind of looked like there were fewer coming out from the top right of the map. Maybe try and find somewhere to run if you can't gun down the walkers immediately. Or of course you can use things like flares, Whisperer's Mask, that kind of stuff. You can rush past them if you've got the CRM axe. Or Beta. Or Huntsman Darrell. Clean the area by, guess what? Taking out all of the walkers. Can we give you a cooler looking gun? See, this is the thing. I've got some of my characters upgraded and some not. You see where there's that red bar? See here? I can't swap that because I would be trying to put a level 34 weapon on a character who can only have level 33 weapons. So that's sort of why that's happening. What the heck? Let's just keep it as is. They look like a goofy bunch. No, I can't remember. Do some bad guys appear, or is this just another one where what you see is what you get? Kind of looks like the latter, doesn't it? Well, stand back and shoot the walkers from a distance. Tactic that often worked in the show, to be fair. Are we back to the start now? You want to get at least 610 stars, of course. The weekly challenge rewards you seasonal event tokens up to 610 stars. So that's the sort of the bare minimum that you want to get. But this is the time for you. This is definitely the mission set for you to push yourself and get the best score you've ever had on a weekly challenge. Kill all walkers is the easiest mission type. And we're back to the start. So hopefully you won't have any challenges. Fish in a barrel can be a tricky one depending on where you are with your game, but just ask for help if you need it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.